If your ink's too slow and your nib won't flow, here's one of the places that you can go. Larry is here to see you through with Mr. Announcer and Cubby too. It's Larry's Fountain Pen Reviews.
Well, what we're doing here is one of my crazy idea, not so much crazy, but what I think of is not talked enough, not said enough to bring back memories back from the days. There's so many of memories that we grew up with and are now gone.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time they're never mentioned again. And to me, that's always been a big problem with me, because it's just like people, when we get old and we pass on, eventually there's nothing said. We're done. Like, take me, I'll use for instance, Larry's Fountain Pens on YouTube, and I got them on Facebook. And we're in that. Well, I'm not. I'm only in that when I have something to say. But after I'm dead and gone, after a while, my name's not going to be mentioned no more. Duh, that dude's gone. So, and then, you know, when you die, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why it's important to me to bring things that we remember back now while we still can.
Yeah.
So, and one of the big things was on my head right now was about, I don't know, you don't have to get into nature to love it, to bring it back. But nature is a big part of what we grew up with, and the world is what holds the world together. Nature.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
without nature, man, can you see how this decrepit world would look now? It's already going decrepit as it is. What's happening with the people, which I've never ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of accusations and hates and lawsuits. You can't look at people, and then these people going out with cameras. Uh, uh, they go into the post office and they're not supposed to go behind the desk and stuff when they're with the cameras. Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Screaming, hollering, it's my right! It's my right! And it just continues with my rights. So, but anyway, nature. When I was a kid growing up, it was pretty cool for me, because speaking of nature, we had these little frogs. Did you ever have them in the yard? And I used to try to catch them, and they were pretty cool. And when you go outside, you hear the frogs making the little sound.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hear that no more. It's gone. At least over here where I'm at.
Yeah.
Do you hear?
Yeah. We've seen a tremendous change in the wildlife, and from what it was when I was a child to what it is now. And it's one of those terrible things that we're destroying our planet, and those who are in political offices who make laws, in my opinion, need to be paying much closer attention to the environment and wildlife, nature, the planet, and passing laws to protect them. I've thought for a long time, because I grew up and still live in the Midwest, and so for us, as the seasons change, we see massive fields all around us. In Illinois, where I live, it's primarily soybeans and corn and wheat, and those are the three main crops. There's some sorghum and sunflowers and some other crops, but the biggest crops of all are corn and beans. And I grew up on a farm, and my mom's side of the family were farmers, and so I grew up on a farm, lived on a farm, and farms then and farms now are different. And now it's field connecting field, and they have to set out markers to know where one person's field starts and another one stops. And It used to be there were hedgerows between the fields. There was wildlife in them, pheasants, rabbits, all kinds of songbirds, multiflora rows. The ditches weren't cultivated. Now the farmers are allowed to farm almost up to the roadways, field to field. They pull down, bulldoze anything that looks like a tree or an old homestead. They're just constantly just destroying it and plowing it under to get in a couple more acres. And our government just watches it go by, subsidizes it, and doesn't protect the planet. Where are the pheasants to live? Where are the quail to live? Where are the rabbits to live? Where are the mice to live? They run out, the little vullies and the mice, they run out of the fields, and then the farmers, they throw all kinds of herbicides down, and they're destroying the wildlife, what little there is. There's hardly anything left. The insects are leaving. They're being destroyed by the chemical agents being dumped on our fields and dropped from crop dusters and sprayed by massive pieces of machinery. And technology is getting bigger and our brains are getting smaller.
Yep.
We're not taking care of our planet, and our children and grandchildren are going to pay dearly for our short-sightedness and the greed of those who are allowed to take and never give back, take and not protect.
And that's what they're taught nowadays, right now. And you see it, because here's what's happening. This is my opinion, and anybody that watches this video, it's a, you all have your opinion and I have mine. So, you leave comments, be civil about it. I just want to get out. But anyway, what is happening? Money has taken control over human beings. They're selling their crops, they're selling their fields, they're selling where the cattle, horses, based on all this, where the buffalo is, all of this they sell because it's a gold mine for money, and it is, so they sell it. So all these animals, I guess, go off somewhere else, find another place to live. But people need to realize that right now, even in Fort Worth or wherever you live, that these animals will appear in your yard one day because this is their home. It's this is the place they know, and people speak out. There's a foster coyote. Yeah, yes, ma'am, there is, because they were here first, and now we kicked them out. Sunflower seeds, remember, the sunflowers over there in Bembrook, beautiful, gone. Every one is gone. Wow, I couldn't believe that. The Bembrook that I grew up and knew has been sold out for money, and the Chisholm Trail goes through, and it's real nice, convenient, but all of it's gone. I remember it was me and, God, who was it? Was it Alan? We were going to Bembrook one day, and there was all these big, giant, beautiful trees that's been there 50, 60, 70 years or more. Beautiful trees. They were just laying all on the side of the road. Well, what's going on? I mean, miles and miles and miles and miles. Well, they cut them down because they were starting the process of digging up the field. So that was kind of scary, and they haven't stopped yet. So much of Benbrook has changed. Nothing we can do about it. And then deep Benbrook, where there's woods, you got to cross this river that used to be sparkling clean, is pure nasty now. People throw stuff in there and they don't care. All the homeless live deep in the wooded area. And now you got to be careful when you go on picnics because of the problem with some of the homeless. So that's another situation that rolls up. But, remember, and I talked about this before, remember drive-ins.
Oh, yeah.
You still have your way?
There's a few around, not very many.
Wow.
I know of one in our area, and that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it a big little one? Single
It's I don't know how they broadcast their sounds, probably over radio or something now. I don't know, but yeah, when I grew up, you'd drive into the drive up, and there's a little mound where your car could kind of make an angle upwards or downwards a little bit, and little posts beside each vehicle, and a little speaker that you could pick up and hang inside your window. You'd roll your window down and roll the speaker up, and you could sit there and listen to the movie through the speakers and watch it on the screen. And talk about nostalgia. That was just a wonderful
Yeah.
part of growing up. 4th of July, everybody wanted to go to a drive-in because that's where the fireworks were. Yeah, at the end of the movie on 4th of July, they'd blow off the fireworks, and we sit there and watch them. So yeah.
When I get through with this one, I want you to kind of get your thoughts ready. I'm going to ask you the same thing because I'm going to share mine. Growing up as a little boy, starting first grade, went to St. Mary's, and the cafeteria was downstairs in the basement. Well, as a little boy, I always thought that because Jake is going to get on this, I think. Well, I'll mention him in a minute. But on the first floor, I thought, well, that's where the cafeteria is at, you know. Did you go downstairs? Yeah. It didn't dawn on me, though. So I'd go to the cafeteria sometimes, and, you know, you grab your tray and you put it down there on the, what do you call that thing? And you go around and you order your food, like, and they give you your tray of food. Well, it's a big cafeteria. Go sit down and eat, and all the kids are eating. And then when you're done, put your trays and stuff up, and you go outside and play. And there's a door that went to the step that you could go outside, where you could go, and you go up these stairs and out to the playground. They had a playground in front and playground in back, monkey ball, seesaw, what was the thing around the Jake, you know it?
Yeah.
Merry-go-round. Yeah. Slide.
Yeah.
Had all the cool things kids need to do. So
Yeah.
that was fun. And so years back, I've been having this strong sensation in my mind, a serious one, that I need to revisit my school. Well, at least just one. So I call the rectory, and now they have brothers. What is a brother? I don't know. I just know a priest. So, okay, I'm brother so-and-so. You are? I said, where's the priest? Well, they're doing something. I need to schedule an appointment. I want to go see the school. He said, okay, we'll be into that. So in the church when I was an altar boy. So all this has been bugging me for decades, you know, like and I don't know why, but you have to see it. You have to see where you went to school, to where your roots started. It just you can't get rid of that. And we went. So we started upstairs. So as we went upstairs, and Jake had to help me. Well, I wouldn't. Was I in the wheelchair yet?
No, not at that time.
Not at that time. So on the cane though, right?
I think you took your walker in.
Walker. Okay. So we go upstairs, and they had the maintenance man. Pretty cool. Open it up because the school is no more. School is gone. They use it for catechism and whatever. So going down the hall, and something just drew me, and I looked. There's my classroom. I recognized it all these years. How? All the desks, same. Everything was the same. You know how they were positioned in the classroom? The teachers. It blew me away. So I'm looking in. I couldn't go in the classroom. Isn't that right? We just looked through the door, I think.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, looked through the door, and it was really, I can't even put it in words. I was just like, wow, this is heavy stuff.
Yeah.
I could see the desk. I could see the nun teacher. I could see the kids in their desk. And then all of a sudden, bam, they're gone. So we moved on, and the maintenance man, as long as we wanted to look, we could look. So we're going on down because that classroom, we had all our classes in. We didn't change classes. Real quick, we went down. He said, I said, can we go to the cafeteria? Sure. We go to that, go right, and we went downstairs. I said, where are we going? He said, the cafeteria. I said, I thought it was on the second top floor. We go to the cafeteria, and the basement, tables where the kids eat. Here we go into the actual kitchen where they serve you. Now this blew me away. This thing was so little to me as a little boy. It was huge. It was a monster big. No, it was like you go down to one here, you get your order, and you go down. You're done. Now you go slide it on down. So that was gone, and then eat you back into school. So that was a memory. How about you? Did you have anything from the past like that?
Yeah, I did. Not so much the school, but homes, places where we lived. We've lived in many different places. And when I was pretty young, we didn't live in a lot of different places, but a few. And I was actually having a conversation with somebody just recently that I think it was my older brother, as a matter of fact. I hadn't seen our old homes where we had lived when we were, and I'm saying I would have been in fourth, fifth, sixth grades. We went to a 3-room school. It was an 8th-grade school, all first through 8th grade, and in 3 rooms. And there were 3 teachers, and one of the teachers was also the principal. And they would have in the classroom, in the room, they'd have each grade, whatever grade you were in, you'd have like a couple rows of seats facing the front, and then there'd be a little space. Then the next grade would have theirs, and the next grade would have theirs, and so you could be in the same room 3 years in a row, but you move which seats you're sitting in, But we lived down the road. Hi, Jake. We lived down the road from there, and my brother was telling me about the house where we used to live. And he says, "Have you been by there?" I said, "No, it's been years since I've seen that house." And he said,
"The house y'all used to live in, right?"
Yeah, and he said, "Well, we rented the house. It was an old farm.
Yeah,
rented it. We weren't. My dad wasn't farming it. We just rented it while he worked in town. We lived out in the country." And he said, "Boy," he said, "when you see it, you're not gonna believe how small it looks." It's just like you said, they're just so small. But when you're that age and it's your home, it's like it's your world. Out back. My bedroom was up high, up on the upper floor where all the bedrooms were upstairs, all the other living area downstairs, and my bedroom was off the face the back of the property, and out back there was a barn, and a fence around the barn area, and then there was another barn, a corn crib off to the side, and there were some outbuildings, and there was a timber back behind it, and pasture and farm agricultural land on each side, and out in the woods was a creek, and neighbors were far away, so we didn't play with other kids much. We just entertained ourselves, and I often just take a little fishing pole, and I would just I'd go out back with a little can, and I'd get in the corn cob pile. I'd dig through it, find some worms, and pick my own worms, or go back. There's a creek that ran through the middle of the woods, and I go back there, and I can still hear the bees and the bugs and the birds, and there's so much life in the timber back then, and the creek. And I just fish and just catch fish and catch frogs and walk around in the water and catch crawdads. Just as kids, we just lived outside. If you went inside, the parents were there. They see either leave, or we're going to give you something to do. So we'll go outside. Yeah, so they kept the kids out of their hair. We just entertained ourselves. We built things
like that. They said, "Larry, if you want to enjoy your time to be outside, you better do it now because when we call you in, that's it. So yeah, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. If you want
Yeah.
to help me clean, okay, Mom, I'll go outside. So
Mm-hmm.
with that, we lived in a lot of houses too. We
Mm-hmm.
rented, my mom rent so, and it was these houses would to me come alive. Uh, they had a soul per se, a personality, and I would always put my hand to the wall so I could see if I could hear them talk. I know it's crazy, but that's just me. Uh, but uh, it was a feeling that you get, even though it wasn't real, because the house, supposedly people would tell you they don't have a heart, they're not alive. But to me, you can't say it because I refuse to believe it because I want to believe that the houses had a soul and they were wanting to be taken care of. They want people to know that, hey, I'm here to take care of you guys. Don't forget, take care of me in that kind of fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But the houses were huge.
Yeah, they were. No air conditioning.
None. Thank you.
None at all. Very, very, very little. Very little. The heating systems were horrible. The walls weren't insulated. Uh,
Lucky to have
in
a
the
fan.
in the summer, yeah, we didn't even have fans.
Yeah.
Uh,
Woo,
for,
sweat.
for years, we didn't even have fans. You got cross ventilation. You'd open up the window and when it got really hot in the summer, we'd literally push our beds across the room and lay in front of the window and hope for a breeze. It got so hot sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes we'd sleep outside on the porch. It got so hot
Yeah,
inside.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, hot.
but boy, it just isn't that way anymore. I never thought of any houses as being alive. That's a little bit different from us about us there, Larry.
I
But
know. I mean, people can express their opinions, and that's what we're here for. I express mine, and it doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means how you
no, I
feel.
understand. You
You
just had
know?
a different thought process than I did
Yeah.
about.
So now,
Yeah.
if I never mentioned that, then you would have never known it, right? Right.
Right, there you go. There you go. Well,
So
as long as you didn't talk to your house, Larry, I'll be all right with it.
I love my houses, and they were so cool. Like I think it was my brother bedroom that on this house you could drive down the driveway and then you stop, and they had those, what do you call those, Jake? Those carport had a roof over it.
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah,
maybe.
yeah. And so it protect the cars from the weather. And then you can go up the stairs, the side stairs, and actually go into his room. That was such a cool room. I don't see that anymore. I remember you would drive in your driveway up into the car, into your garage, and then you can go in from the garage into the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have those?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that was the ultimate
Yeah.
high. I
Yeah.
loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
You know,
Some of those old houses that were all different that we lived in, but they all had a personality, and they were all fun to explore. But I'll tell you what, for me, you want to talk about nostalgia here, and I'll shut up, let Jake talk. But uh, what I have the fondest memories of is playing in barns.
in what?
In barns.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
See, we lived in Danville, Illinois, when I was up through about the third grade, and then we moved up to northern Illinois and lived in a farm up there. So much of our childhood was spent in barns, and uh, there's nothing cooler than an old barn. They have so many trap doors, steps up walls that went into up through trap doors, rooms upstairs, bales of hay, bales of straw. The ceilings in those things were, I don't know how high up they were, but we could pile hay and straw up in those things so high that you wouldn't believe how many bales high we could go. And kids, they just go in, they just rearrange the bales of hay. You know, the farmer said they go out in the fields, and I even helped do it one year where we go, we call it bucking bales. We collect bales of hay, and then get it up, haul it up to the hay mow, we called it,
Mhm.
and stack it in tiers, just like a pyramid, you know, steps, you know. And to get to the top, you just go up a step, and you go up a step. You had to drag the bales up to the top, you know, and make a row up on the top. But when that was all said and done, it left us kids with a whole city of building blocks, and we used, instead of Lego blocks making little things, we used bales of hay to make big things. And we had tunnels, we had
Yes,
forts,
yes.
we had
Oh,
houses,
yes.
we had castles. It was
Yep.
so fun, and you could just spend so much. I could still smell it,
Yep.
the smell in
Yep.
my nose, and especially when they had hay. Oh, hay smells so wonderful. And the purpose for that, of course, was for livestock, and farms back then. You didn't just have corn and beans. You have livestock too, and you had
Yeah.
chickens, you had horses, you had cattle, you had a milk cow, you had pigs, you had sheep, you had cats, and
Duck,
dogs, and
whatever.
it was a world, a living world. A barn was a wonderful place, and I spent
Great time of
so
life.
many hours. Yeah.
Great time of life. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Now, did somebody wanted to say something?
Well, I can talk about mine since it's rather different from y'all's too. I grew up out in the Permian Basin area of Texas. It's a desert country. I lived in the same room for 18 years. We never moved. So, but that would be quite a different experience. And I think back, like you said, Dan, how small the rooms really are compared to what we are used to now. But we'd play outside. You just had to watch out for the snakes and tarantulas and scorpions that were wandering around. But the thing about it was a dry heat. It's not the humidity that you have in the eastern parts of the country. I'd be out mowing the lawn at 105 degrees in the afternoon. It wasn't any big deal. So yeah, it was a little different, but I hadn't been back there since high school graduation. It's changed, run down so much. I just don't want to remember
Mm-hmm.
it that way. I remember it the way it was when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, tarantula. Real quick, then you take it, Dan, or anybody. Go back to remember what I was saying. Real important thing I left out, which I left out a lot of important things. I'm important, not the baby. Okay, so anyway, we were all, the family were going to Pembroke. Dad was taking us, I forgot where, on a picnic or something. Oh, so we're going down that road, main road to go into Pembroke. And there's farms, farmhouses. Back then it was all country, all, about cattle and horses. And so we're going down the road and we stopped. Must have been thousands tarantulas crossing the road.
Tarantulas.
Wow, blew me away. Look at all these tarantulas, man. So we
Wow.
stopped, and we never seen anything in our life like that.
Mm.
We saw it.
Wow.
And so we stayed for a little bit. And the only way to get to Benbrook is that way, or have to go all the way around Benbrook, come in the back way to get into Benbrook. Well, that's it. Hang on, here we go. Close the windows, everything closed, and here we go. And my mama goes, "Hey!" I said, what if they get in here? And they could get in your car,
Mm-hmm.
So drove fast and we ran over just a few. Because
Yeah.
here comes tons of more. I'm telling you. See if you can find that, Jake, in Star Telegram or something. Well, I've never ever seen anything incredible like that. The only thing that we
Wow.
found out was we talked to a park ranger that was there, and he
Mm-hmm.
hadn't seen it yet. Migration or something time.
Migration, yeah.
Migration. Okay. And I could hear my dad saying, there's tons, I mean, tons. And he said, well, Mr. Baronis, he said, I'll go take a look. I believe you, but I want to see all these because, you know, that's an experience for me. I've never ever seen them.
Yeah.
So that, and you know, back in the house in your yard, you have these kind of holes they have there. Well, that's where tarantulas live. That was told. What were you told? Anything?
We don't
Yeah.
have tarantulas in Illinois.
Oh, well, that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So
We
I
don't
would
have
say,
tarantulas.
oh, it's too bad.
Now
What do you have?
we have frogs.
Yeah,
Every once in a while,
frogs are good.
at the right time of the year in the summertime, you'll drive down the road at night and there'll just be frogs everywhere and little bitty things, you know, and I'm always driving around trying not to run over them.
Yeah,
But yeah, some of them do get squished.
yes. We
I was
had,
up in I was up in Northern California, Calaveras County once. Oh man, back in the '70s, and one evening we were driving. My wife and I we hadn't been married too long. We were driving up there. Went up there to see a friend of ours up at Angel Camp. My brother and a friend of ours, and we're up there. There's rattlesnakes on the pavement at night, and I mean a lot of rattlesnakes, and I mean everywhere. And I just couldn't believe it. They would lay out on the road at night, I guess, because of the temperature or something.
They absorb the heat from the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they were big rattlesnakes. I mean, gazillions of. I actually stopped my car and got out with it to kind of poke at one, see if I can make it rattle. I wanted to hear it rattle. They don't rattle when they're strung out. They only rattle when they're coiled up. So I had trouble getting a rattle out of them. But yeah, I tried.
Did they try to bite you or anything?
No, my wife tried to bite me. Get back in the car. Leave them alone.
She wasn't playing either.
Women don't appreciate the finer things of manlyhood, you know. At any rate.
Oh, Komodo dragon. Oh, God.
She does that when I go out to watch tornadoes too. Get back in the house. Get in the basement. What are you doing out there? I'm watching the tornado.
Tornado.
Cool. You've got to see this.
I can see you in the air. Oh. What do you
guys, have you guys ever seen a tornado? Jake, you ever seen a tornado?
I have. Yeah.
You have? Well, you guys, everybody hears about the Texas twisters. You know, you guys, they all start with you and show up at our place. They go a long way sometimes.
Yeah.
You guys are the beginning of Tornado Alley.
Yeah.
Big scary ones. Yep.
Yeah, we've had several pretty big ones come through. One of them tore up downtown Fort Worth back some years ago, a couple of decades ago.
Yeah. And it tore up the federal building inside or whatever because I was at work and our sirens didn't go off at work. It came, it gone, it destroyed, and a lot of debris was landing in the backyard. I was I think, home manager at the time, but a lot of the stuff that the police, the FBI had on people, it was there. I was looking at it. Look at that. So I called them, and they said thinking they came by for all that. Yeah, pretty cool.
We've had some pretty nasty twisters up our way too, every once in a while, and they can be terrifying. Some of the really, really massive ones, they just wipe things clean like a hurricane, just goes right through and just everything's gone. And that's just a terrifying thing. And one of the good things about technology is we do get to see photographs. Not that you rejoice that it happens to somebody, but it does help us to appreciate how devastating these storms can be.
Yeah.
All we see is a big giant black cloud going around, but yeah, they'd be pretty bad. I've always wanted to experience a hurricane, believe it or not. It sounds stupid to say that, but I've often wanted to know what it would be like to be in a hurricane. I know what it's like to be in tornadoes or near them.
I would think a hurricane would be worse than a tornado, wouldn't it?
Well,
I,
definitely
it
the
can be.
sound, it is very loud when the wind's full boring. I was on the outskirts of one once.
Hmm.
So if you imagine what it's like when a thunderstorm first rolls in, those real big gusts, it's like that, but it just lasts a lot longer.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I guess they caused a lot of tornadoes. The hurricanes, they actually spawn tornadoes, you know. Yeah, pretty nasty things. Yeah,
Well,
I was down in Puerto Rico one year on a ministry tour, and I think we were supposed to stay. We're only there a week or two or something like that, and we're supposed to stay a day or two longer, and we had to leave, cut our trip short because there was a hurricane coming into to Puerto Rico where we were, and they were very afraid, the people there, because they'd experienced some horrible, devastating, wipe your whole island out hurricanes, and there was one on the way, and we had to leave early, and we got on the last flight out of Puerto Rico before it hit.
yeah.
And had to fly back. And it doesn't take long to get from Puerto Rico to Florida, you know. But anyway, that was pretty nasty one, I guess.
So right now, what time is it at your place?
Same as yours.
Oh, same time zone. Okay.
Yeah, we're on the same time zone. Yeah, yeah. Which is
So
what,
before,
6-ish or something like that.
yeah,
6,
it's
7.
right now.
Yeah.
So before we leave, is there any certain particular memory that kind of stuck with you?
Well, we're coming up on Christmas, and I don't know about you guys, but for me, Christmas can be pretty nostalgic. You know, um, memories are funny things. You know, the good memories can become bad memories, and the way they make you feel that they're not there anymore. I don't know how to explain it, but there's something about the nostalgia of the holidays that can be pretty heavy duty for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
and I can see why, because I mean, for me, it's just like a trip down memory lane, and you think of how important for a child that Christmas was. It was the most important day on the calendar for a kid when I was growing up. I'm 70 now, so you guys are not too terribly far from me. Jake, you're still a baby, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm the baby. I'm not the baby.
I know you're not. You're just an old guy.
I'm a brat.
But but for when I was growing up, Christmas is pretty important. You know, we didn't get toys throughout the year, and we didn't get a lot of toys at Christmas. We got clothing also, you know, and but it wasn't just the gifts; it was just
I remember that.
the feeling in the air. I don't know how else to say it, but it's
Yeah.
just the feeling of the time of year, and people thinking about what Christmas meant, and going to church special things, and the music, and the family, and getting in the piling in a car and driving to places and to people you hadn't seen in a long time, and being around
Yeah.
all the cousins at once, and special meals, and hearing the grown-ups talk and laugh and exchange things, um, and then when you raise kids, then the kids are gone, and now it's like there's a new set of memories, not just your own when you were a kid. Now it's when you were a parent of kids, and now they're out of the house and gone, um, and um, and you spend your life trying to make as a young parent, you're trying to make it special for your kids because it was
Yeah.
special to you, and now they're gone, and now they've got kids, and so you got the double whammy, I guess you'd say. But for me right now, with Christmas time coming, as a pastor, I'm trying to bring the real meaning of Christmas to people, and Christmas church services, and Christmas time, and candlelight services, and that sort of thing. Uh, eh, Nostalgia. You talk about
Yeah.
memories. For me, it's not one memory. It's just like a kind of memory that comes back to me this time of year.
Oh, same for us. Christmas was. Oh, yeah. I knew what Christmas meant and what it's for, but the excitement of Santa Claus coming.
Yeah,
If we're lucky to get any.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you didn't have money for that.
Yeah.
But there was always some things that I would enjoy that I knew that was going to happen because I was an altar boy, and yes, I served in mass, so I had to go whatever masses I was assigned to, even
Hmm.
the midnight mass. Oh, that was a hard one. Wake up. So that was a hard one. So church was okay. Uh, Growing up, and it always put Christmas together. And I love Christmas and then the downtown with Santa Claus and the way downtown used to be decorated so beautiful. Now it's not. And they had a
Downtowns used to be downtown. We didn't have shopping malls back then, did we?
yeah, exactly.
Downtown or uptown, depending on where you live. That was you're right. The way it was decorated and the hustle bustle of people. The sidewalks were full. The stores were full,
Yeah,
and it was the cities were different than what they are now. And there
oh
was
yeah.
the downtown was the heart of the city. But now we've lost so much of our culture in America.
Okay, and it's going to keep on. I mean, we had
Yeah.
Leonard's department store. What a place to go! Wonderland, beautiful place. We had Cox's, we had Monings, we had Striplings. We had what is that thing called Woolworth, or what do you call it?
Woolworth.
Woolworth. We had them all, and there was a place that you get your shoes. What's that little place? That popular place with
Red Goose shoes,
Buster Brown. Buster Brown.
Buster
Did you ever
Brown, Red Goose shoes. Yeah, yeah. Floor
everything down?
shine. Hmm.
Yes, yes. Now it's all gone. Now they
Yeah.
have Santa Claus. They have a Christmas tree all in white lights. Very boring, though. Then they have
Hmm.
playing, or you sit outside and talk and listen to music.
Hmm.
The decorations downtown.
Have you ever seen the old movie Miracle on, is it 34th
Yeah,
Street? That's what
all
it
the
was like.
time,
That's
all the time,
what
man.
America was like when I was a kid. It was like that's how it was like.
Yeah,
You know. Where'd you grow
all
up? Where'd you grow up, Jake? Where'd you say you grew up?
West Texas, out in the Midland, Odessa area.
Odessa. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that is. Yeah. Yeah. You Texans, I'll tell you, everything's big in Texas. You guys are always bragging on your bigness. I've only
Yeah,
been through the Panhandle.
it is a fact. El Paso is closer to San Diego than it is to Houston.
Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 I lived in San Diego in the 70s, early 70s, when I was in the Navy. And we lived there for a couple of years, better part of a year and a half or so. The first when I was in boot camp, and then later when I was in hospital corps school. I was a hospital corpsman in the Navy, stationed with the Marine Corps afterwards. And so we lived there, and I actually lived in not in San Diego proper, but what was the name? It was right up at the Mexican border. Oh, why can't I remember that? See, that's something else that goes, the memory.
oh,
But
be
anyway,
absolutely.
the San Diego area.
It's California.
California.
Yeah.
Now I'm
I
trying.
have been to El Cajon before.
El Cajon. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Well, California's a long state. We've been all up and down the state. After I got out of the Navy, out of boot camp, I got stationed up in Washington State for a while on an island up there called Whidbey Island. And then I went back to San Diego to hospital corps school. And then after that, I went out into the Mojave Desert in California. So I spent probably more of my Navy life in Southern California in the Mojave Desert than I did anywhere else. The world's largest Marine Corps base,
All right.
landmass wise. But that's where the tarantulas and the rattlesnakes were that I remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey.
Odessa, huh? West Texas.
Odessa? That's where you're at?
So, near there, yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
dead and dry, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
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 But we here it was just a winter wonderland, and then the Christmas music that played then was I'm always like a magnet, and I can't find but maybe one or two from back there because I'm mostly drawn to the 50s and some of the 40s that I've heard. I've heard that you can't get away from it. Uh, Little Town of Bethlehem and stuff like that. Silent Night. Well, you hear them today, but not like but I heard them back then. And
Yeah.
it just, I don't know, it made you feel
Hmm.
like you're at home. It's like everything's coming together for you because
Hmm.
you got the Christmas music from back then you got
Hmm.
the Christmas going on with the tree and stuff at the house, and you put that all together, boom, it's Christmas. Yeah. Get up in the morning, screaming, yelling, hollering. Get over there, mom, get up. She would say, my dad, Henry, get up. Okay. My sister, get up. Brother, get up. Y'all shut up. So here we are, tearing, ripping off the presents. I mean, the gift wrap from the presents. Santa Claus
Now,
came
how
with.
big of a families did you two guys have? You had how many
I
brothers
had,
and sisters did you have?
we had 5 in our family. Three,
Five?
1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay.
Just me and
Five
my brother.
kids.
Yeah. 2 kids.
No, 5 people in the family. He had a brother and a sister.
Five in his family, a brother and sister. Okay, and so how about you, Jake?
Just the one brother.
One brother. So there's four of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had 6 in our family. I had a mother and father, and then I had a younger brother, a younger sister, and an older brother. So there are 4 kids. And so, and that wasn't really a really big family back then. That was probably about average, I guess. But there's lots of families had 8+ people in the family, sometimes more than that, 8, 10. But
Wow.
yep.
What was your favorite gift for Christmas, and what was your worst gift
My
that you got?
favorite gift, I can think of 2. Okay. Only 3 I can think of. We didn't get very many toys. Okay. Okay. I'll give you my 2 favorites, and then my third wasn't my worst, but it turned out to be the worst. Okay. My 2 favorites was I got one year I got is a little rubber gun. It looked like a Derringer, a little rubber Derringer, and you put a ping pong ball on the end of it, and you squeeze it and go, and it shoot the ping pong ball across the room. I had a
Oh,
great time
yeah,
with that
I
thing.
remember those.
That was a killer gift for me, I'll tell you. And then one year I got a spy telescope. It was a like a periscope. You could hide behind the couch and hold it up to your eye, and there's this little box that went up, and then at the top there was it angled, and you could look through down behind something, and you could see out the periscope. You could see what's going on in the room where you were
Like Leave
hiding.
It to Beaver. That's what they're doing in his room, looking next door. Leave It to Beaver, they have one like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those are the two that come to my mind the first. One that I got that I absolutely thought was the most wonderful thing in the whole wide world, but I was so disappointed in it because it didn't work, was I got a pair of red plastic shoes with a platform underneath them and springs, and you're supposed to be able to jump in the shoes and jump really, really high. But I couldn't go much higher than I could have without them. I was so disappointed in those uh, Boinger shoes. They just never did me much good, but I really wanted them to work. And one year we got my brother and I both got a knife, a sheath knife. It was probably about 8 inches long, and had a leather wrapped handle and a real live sharp edge on it. And I can't believe my parents and grandparents, who knew what I was like, would buy me a knife, but they did. And I was
How
careful
old were
with
you?
I don't know. I probably couldn't have been more than 8, I wouldn't guess. But um, it was just a wonderful, wonderful gift. Those are the gifts I remember.
One day, one Christmas, well, we used to have presents everywhere. one Christmas we knew was going to be a very, very poor Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So we got up, I got up, and there wasn't much there, you know.
Yeah.
And Mom said, "Well, here's your present, son. I'm a little older. I'm probably 6th, 7th grade, maybe. Still believe in Santa, which I believe in Santa now. So, and no one's going to talk me out of it. Anyway, here's your present." "Oh, thanks, Mom." She said, "I'm sorry, wasn't much to give. Wasn't much to go around this time of year." And, well, that's okay. So, I opened it up, and it was a AM, FM transistor radio. Pretty cool. Yeah, it was a small one. You could put earplugs in. I've never seen anything like it. Pretty cool looking. Well, of course, inside I was hurt. That's it. So I was outside on the curb listening to the radio, feeling sorry for myself. And a friend of mine down the street come up, "Hey, Larry, what are you doing?" "Oh, nothing much." And he sat down and said, "Well, what'd you get for Christmas?" And I got a bunch of stuff inside, but I brought my radio out and showed him. So I had to tell a little white lie that all my gifts are inside still, and that was it. And I said, "What'd you get?" He said, "I got a bunch of stuff. I got underwear and socks and pants and shirt, shoes. I got some caps." He said, "I got a new bike, but I didn't write it down.
Bike.
Yeah. So, wow.
I think I had one bike my whole childhood.
I never got a bike.
Really?
Let's see. No. When I was a little boy back, I must have been 3 or 4. My grandpa got me a tractor and a tricycle.
Yeah. We had one each of those when I was really little. We all shared them. All the kids shared them.
Yeah. So the tractor was really, really cool.
Oh, yeah.
It was a red tractor.
Yeah, we had one.
Yeah, the shift was up here and paddle it. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Jake, what about you? What was your favorite toys?
The two that I remember the most, one was a talking Viewmaster.
Yes, I got one.
Oh, yeah.
Reel on it that you could slide in. Press the button, voices would come out.
I didn't have that. Yeah.
And then the other was the Amazing Strange Change machine. It one of those. It had a heated element in it, like we'll sell that now because you can burn. And it used these little plastic rectangular shaped things. You put them in there, and they would grow and expand into dinosaurs. And then you could
really
put them back into the little cube things.
That was the what on a Viewmaster?
No, this was, it was called the Amazing Strange Change machine.
What did the machine look like? I'm going to look it up tonight.
Yeah, I'll show you one. It had a plastic cover about the size of a butter dish, and then the heating unit underneath that. I'll show you a picture one.
Huh. That sounds cool.
Next time we do one of these, if you care to join us, but whatever, I'm going to bring out my Viewmaster. I'm going to bring out, I have a transistor radio. I'm going to bring out cameras, the Polaroid cameras. Don't you have some, Jake? My Polaroid.
No, I don't have the old Polaroid.
Yeah, my Polaroids are.
When you talk about Viewmasters, it's kind of funny because it seemed like everybody had one. Every house had a Viewmaster, and that meant that every house had a stack of those little round things, different. And some of them told little stories. Some of them were like places you've never been. It was like National Geographic on, and those things. And so it was cool to everybody always would pass around the Viewmaster and turn it.
That I have, it's from Carlsbad Caverns.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. And they had really good, beautiful pictures in those things. Yeah. Really good quality stuff. And yeah, you're right. You could just, it's like going to the Yellowstone and the Grand Canyon and places that you always wanted to go, you didn't ever get to go. But to
You know,
see pictures like that, that was pretty cool.
cave before San Antonio that was down in the ground.
Natural bridge cavern.
We got to go in that. I mean, that thing was, I don't know how many feet down. It was far down. So, wow. When we got in there dark with little lights and going out,
You
it
know,
was cold back then. Wouldn't it, Jake? Remember how
Well, it
cold?
stays pretty cool in the cavern. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
do
you know,
you
of course, I
guys,
was
did you
prepared,
guys,
but
did you guys ever read uh, Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn?
I did. Yeah, that's a must. I mean, yeah, that's you're exploring. You're exploring the life. He's giving you idea. He's telling you
Well,
how life was. Yeah.
well, that cave is a real
Okay.
cave in
Yeah.
Hannibal, Missouri,
Mhm.
and we lived in Springfield at the time that I went over there to the cave, and I was in the Boy Scouts, and I wasn't real old, so you know I don't remember how old I was. I was probably a junior high school, maybe a freshman in high school, something like that. Um, and anyway, our Boy Scouts got together. We all went over there one day, and we camped over there. There's campgrounds over there. There were two caves. One was called Cameron Cave, I think, and the other one was the Mark Twain Cave. And you still go through the cave today, but it's extremely closely monitored. Back then, it wasn't nearly as monitored as what it is now. And I was a pretty ornery kid, and I was always one of the guys that was off sneaking and doing something you weren't supposed to do, and off smoking cigars or shooting off firecrackers or something, you know. And I went over there, and myself and a couple other kids, we all were on kind of a buddy system. We're supposed to stay together, and they let us into. We went to the one cave the one day, and then the next day we went to the Mark Twain cave, and they had a little map of it, and the little map, you know, and there's a tiny little square area of it, which was the mapped out area that you turn it over, and that shows where the main caverns were, all that sort of thing. And they turned us Boy Scouts loose in there. We all, of course, we had some adult leaders, but not enough. And myself and a couple other guys, we broke away, and we said, we're going to go explore the cave. And we explored, and you took flashlights with you. And of course, we snuck our cigarettes and our cigars and firecrackers in the cave, and we're very disappointed because the firecrackers don't sound very loud in a real cavern. We thought they would have been louder, but they were just the opposite. Anyway, we went here and there, and some of the caverns you'd go down, and then it opened up a whole new level, and then you go through a little, like almost like a little window into another, and then there's a whole other area, and over and over and over, slippery, slimy mud and little waterways. Sometimes there'd be big crevasses that went way down. You'd step over them. Well, we were just having a great time. We were in there a long time, and we got ourselves lost.
Uh-oh.
And we were told, whatever you do, don't go out of this one area in this little square. Just don't go out of there. We thought, we're going out of there. We're going. And we took off. And we started getting pretty scared because we only had flashlights. Those batteries don't last long.
Right.
And I mean, we all had a couple of flashlights. Well, one would go dead, then another one would go dead, and another one would go dead. And pretty soon they're getting dimmer and dimmer. And we were getting really scared because you could scream at the top of your lungs and nobody could hear you more than a few feet away. I mean, they're just dead, no air movement, just still, and nothing, black as black could be. And we were getting in the darker. We started putting little pebbles on the floor, making arrows on the floor. We started putting arrows on the floor and trying to look, let's try to go this way and see if we can find our way. And we'd run into our little arrows again. And it was scary. And we were in way overtime. And the guy who ran the cave, they sent this old man went in with a lantern, holding lantern, and he found us. And if we hadn't been sneaking cigars, he probably never would have found us because that smoke just sits in there, just sits on the air. If we hadn't been the naughty kids that we were, but I'm telling you what, you wouldn't. They'd never turn anybody loose in there like they did us. I can't imagine why they would have turned us loose like they did. They thought being Boy Scouts, we were very well disciplined and we were the opposite.
Don't forget now, Dan. Don't forget the era that we grew up back then was a lot different than now. So
Yeah.
I guess I had different ways of dealing and showing things. I guess. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You're lucky that you lived.
Yeah. God's saved my life a few times. I'll have to tell you some more things some other days, but yeah,
That's gonna happen.
I'm very fortunate to be alive. A lot of my friends aren't, but I'm very lucky to be alive. I really am. I've had some real close calls. Real close calls.
Let's talk about that, and let's talk about some of our friends that are passed away.
Yeah.
And the memories we had.
Now I want to. One thing you got to talk about, though, we got just the three of us here, and I'm going to interrogate you now. Okay. You both have told me a little bit about how you guys have been friends for a very long time. Can you tell me how old you were, how you met each other, and how you became friends and all that sort of thing?
Started in seminary, didn't it?
Yeah, I was seminary. I was here in Fort Worth in seminary, and he and I had a mutual friend, Bob, I think was his name.
Yeah, Bob.
Big red-haired guy. So somehow or another we ran into each other. Didn't really communicate much while I was here, and then I moved off and ended up moving back here to teach, and was able to track him down and get reacquainted. So
no kidding. How old were you when you first met? I mean,
That was 15, 16, 18, 20 years ago.
Okay.
Well, just out of college, so around age 20 or so, or 24.
Yeah. You guys are best buddies now, aren't you?
Yeah. And then with Alan, same thing. I met Alan at a Wendy's. I was ordering. There was no place to sit, so I asked him, "Can I sit here?" He said, "Sure." And we got talking, and there it went on, and we met Wendy's all the time. Then we hung out a lot. So then we talked about, you have an apartment, I have an apartment, we're paying all this money. Why don't we get a house and split the payments? So we found it was cheaper to split a house payment, car payment, insurance payment, utilities, and groceries.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we got started. Later down the road, Mr. Jacob Laws was doing this all that thing on this
genealogy.
And what did he find in there that is a relative of his?
Alan and I are actually related. He and my dad are 8th cousins.
Can you believe that? Can you believe
a grandfather?
I'll be darned.
Yeah. Now Jake's mom, she adopted me. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah, we went. I started taking them back to East Texas. My parents grew up in deep East Texas, and it sounds like the part of the country that you live in. My uncle was a farmer. My mom grew up on a farm, that sort of thing. So it was kind of like a trip to the country for him and Alan whenever we'd go visit them.
We had a blast. It was so much fun.
That scared them half to death one time. You know how the country roads can go all over the place in the forests and all that. Well, I took them off the main road into a little dirt road that I was pretty sure I knew where it would come out, but
he wasn't sure. He just went down.
I knew I was going to find a way eventually, but they got scared because we got so deep in the forest and was afraid someone was going to come out and shoot us, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird. I mean, he didn't know where we were. Oh, we get out here. You don't even know where you're at, dude. Heck, they're going to kill us. Something's going to get us, Oh, no. So we got out. So never again did I do that.
So you guys ended up all three of you sharing a place.
Yep.
I'll be darned. Now, how long you been sharing the same house? Was this your house before, Jake, or did you guys?
No, the two of them lived in Alan's dad's old house.
Okay.
I moved back, and then I had a roommate that I had a little bit of trouble with, and they kind of got me into financial binds, so I had to leave my duplex that I was in, and I moved in with them two. Then we eventually found a bigger place to rent, and then sometime later I bought this house that we're in now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At this house, we've been, what, 10, 15
Mm-hmm.
years at this house. And then
Yeah.
on Ferris, we're in there for what, 10?
No, about 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah. Oh, great. That's great. That's great. Well, you guys kind of look out for each other too. That's good.
Come here, kitty.
Good.
One of the cats just scratched open the doors. Feed me.
Huh.
I think,
You have cats?
I think Jake, you probably ended up the guy holding the bag with a lot of this stuff, haven't you? No offense, Larry. Just cover your ears, Larry.
No, we all make up for it. He does all cooking, so that's nice.
Huh. I do all the cooking, buddy. Let me tell you. And it's all gone. Huh. Yes, sir. Yep. Now, when I'm, it just,
my wife and I've ended up over the years just becoming the cook in the house. She just likes to let me cook, and she doesn't like the messes I make, but I've gotten to where she's a pretty good cook too, but I just started, I like exploring, trying different things, and so she kind of lets me cook. But anyway, we kind of always divide things up. We've been married 50 years now, so after a while you
50 years.
you learn how to make it work.
Woo, 50 years, baby, and rock
Yeah,
it.
we just celebrated a few months ago. We celebrated our 50th anniversary. Yeah. Our 50-year class reunion was a couple of years ago.
And now I wonder, when you mentioned that, I'm sure it has to be a few more, but how many people have stuck with each other,
Mm-hmm.
And if you have problems with the marriage, you have to work it out to make it right. It's not one-sided. I think it's two-sided.
Yeah.
So 50 years.
Yep.
Yeah, my parents and my grandparents both hit past the 60-year mark. And
wow.
Look at generation. Mine lasted 14. A lot of the people I went to school with, same thing, same general thing too.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Now both of you have been married before, right?
Yes.
Yep. And before. And before.
I learned it the first time.
And before.
You learn. You're a quicker learner than Larry is.
I'm slow. Yeah, very slow. Yes, sir. Yep, kind of walk me out. Yep. Then I learn.
My wife and I were married when we were kids. We were 19 years old. She had just turned 19, and when we were married, and we were very young. And boy, when you're that old, you don't think you're young, but I'm telling you what, 19 is awfully young to be getting married, in my opinion. But we did, and we made it work. Yeah.
Yep.
There's some rocky roads at first for everybody. I think it's learning how to live with another human being. Who's there's always a button heads.
Yeah.
50 years, we still butt heads, which every single person, anybody married that tells you they don't butt heads, I think, I don't believe it. Because I mean, there has to be a meeting of the minds. There has to be a compromise that happens all the time. Somebody's got to say, okay, we'll do that. Yeah, but it's cool. My wife's an artist, and she's really good at it. And she's just, as a studio, and she's just an amazing artist.
And any of your artwork.
I should show you. I should take my phone or into her studio and show you some of her paintings and stuff. You would be amazed of what she does. Do you have time for me? You got 10 minutes?
Yeah.
You have 10 minutes?
Show it?
What's that?
Why didn't she show it though? She didn't want to, or?
Oh, she doesn't mind. I just got to get up off my behind and go turn on some lights and show you.
Go for it.
Give me Here, let me move this thing around. I'm hoping that this will, I can make this work this way. Oh, I'm messing y'all up. So just,
Studio.
I'm still here.
You might. One
I'm
of my
still
favorites.
here. Anyway.
The lobby.
All right. Wait, can you see me?
No.
Nope. There you are. Oops.
Love this
Uh-oh.
house.
Did I mess this up? Hold on. I'm still here. Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to go into the other room here. And it's going to be dark. And give me a second here. Mary Kay, I'm showing off your artwork.
Surprise, surprise.
Her name is
It's not,
Mary Kathleen.
it's not my fault, it is.
And that's who I turn on some lights here. Give me a minute because this is kind of, we got a lot of lights here. Just a second here. Oh, she's also an amazing home decorator. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around now so you can get an idea. Okay. I'm just kind of going
That's
through
pretty.
here.
Yeah.
And there we go.
There
Oh,
we
here's
go.
something right here. She did. See it?
Yeah.
That's about 3 feet tall, a couple feet wide.
Huh?
More of an abstract kind of a thing. There's a painting she did. Some water lilies.
That's pretty too. Look at that. There you
There's a heron.
go. I'll be darned.
This is a lavender field from a vacation and when we were in Oregon. There's another heron. These here, oh, hang on, I need more lights. Hold on. Not enough lights. Not enough lights. Hang on. Uh-oh, that should have been done with a switch, Dan. You're gonna get in trouble.
Hmm.
She's got little light things everywhere. Hold on. Okay. I messed that up, I'll bet. There we go. Hold on. Okay, well, there's another one she's done there. See it? Let's see. This is a giant horse. This is about 4 feet tall or so.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, let's see here.
Have a giant turtle. Squirrel.
Hang on.
That's a pretty tree. Look at that.
This here is, these here are about 6 feet tall. It's a pair of matching or coordinating things. You have to get up kind of close to see.
I like that. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Look at that. That's pretty.
And here,
It's you.
see, and these are actually part of a really tall scenes here.
And those are
Here we have, this is kind of impressionistic thing that she did. This here is a swan, some swans from a photograph of swans that we actually saw. Here's one she did here. She does a lot of wildlife stuff.
yeah.
Here's a really neat one. This should be in a contest somewhere. I don't know if you can see this one very well or not, but this is a snow scene with shadows and everything. This is done with pastels. Here's a really cool one that I like. I don't know if you can see this very well or not, but I should probably, will this be better? Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You see that? Here's another. This is from some trees that we took a photograph of
Go back to
in
that.
Hawaii.
Dan,
Yeah.
go back to that tree
Yeah.
for a minute.
What?
Back to that tree.
That one?
That one. Yeah, leave your focus there for a minute.
Yeah.
Just let me look at that one.
And that's amazing. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
She did
just
that with
tell me-
pastels, which are like oil crayon kinds of things, you know?
I'm like feeling digging
Yeah.
this tree that
Yeah.
setting up. I like
Yeah.
it.
And
Beautiful.
there's
Cool.
Al, she's done. Hang on. We haven't even got into her studio yet. She's got all the rooms in the house have stuff she's done. These are things she'd probably get mad at because she's still working on them. Here's one she's working on.
Upside down, cool.
some thistles.
Whose flowers are those?
Yeah, thistles. Here's one she's currently working on.
Okay. What is
You're not supposed to
like
see
that?
things in that
What is
condition. Here's another one she's working on. Let's see here. Yeah. Well, here's one of the wall. I like that one on the wall. See that one? Isn't that cool?
It is. That one's really pretty. Tulip.
And this is one of our daughter.
Okay.
She's done that one. Hold on. There's some cliffs in Hawaii near the ocean. Photographs we took. There's one. I like that kind of thing there. She did all that stuff up there. She did.
Yeah.
And so, that sort of thing. But anyway, they're all over the house. But that's the kind of stuff she does. This is my living room. She decorated all this sort of thing. Almost everything you see, we bought at auctions and stuff because we can't buy any of that stuff new. And some of the stuff we bought for a song, you wouldn't believe. That chair cost $2.50. So did that one. Bought the pair of them for $5. That's just how we do everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, got these things at an auction. I think $10-15, something like that. Beautiful lamps. This here she got at an auction. That's an old antique thing there.
Yeah.
That's my kitchen. This here is a very special part of my house.
Kitchen.
It's Watson. Hi, Watchy. Are you taking a nappy, buddy? Huh?
Hi, pretty kitty.
Hi, buddy. You want me to scratch your tummy? Yeah, let's just take a bath. Let's wash our hands. Yeah. Okay. That's Watson. Okay, that's enough for now. Oh, here, you want to see something cool? Wait a minute here. Where do you see this? These walls?
Yeah.
All hand done. She did all our walls.
I'll be darned.
Look at all that.
At that.
Amazing. Yeah. I'm gonna get in trouble for showing off this stuff. Okay. Anyway, we're in my room now. This is it.
That's your man cave.
What's that?
Man cave.
That's my man cave. Got that in auction. Here it is. Ready? You ready?
Yep.
You ready? Da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
Wow.
That's my pen collection.
Wow.
These are my inked up pens here. You probably recognize all these, Larry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Larry is the source of most of these things. There's some too, some Mike Greens. These are all my Mike Green pens. That one, that one, that one, that one.
Yeah.
Some of these were, that's that mule, and that's the other one there. So anyway, it's kind of dark. You can't see very well, but that is my world. Oh yeah, here's my cello, one of my fiddles, one of my violas. Yeah. So anyway.
Hey.
Yeah.
Man, do me a favor. Let's
Yeah.
hear how that cello sounds.
Well, the cello, the strings popped off, but I haven't retuned it yet. Hang on a second. I don't know what kind of. Just a second here. I'll just do an open bow of whatever the strings are now. They're not in any.
Yeah, I just wanted to hear one.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've been running a humidifier. That's what that is now. But. And of course, the fiddle's a little different. And the viola's in between. I actually got pretty good at the fiddle, but I started having some hearing problems. I have real serious tinnitus, and so if I play my fiddle I won't be able to hear. I'm trying to figure out how to get this thing back to where it's supposed to be now.
If you raise the family
Oh
moment,
yeah, there. There we are again, and there I am. There
well,
we
you know,
are.
thank God I'm a country boy. Well,
Yeah,
all right, we're going to be leaving right in about now. And thank you for joining us, but we're going to come back at another time and do this
yeah.
again. And I'm going to see if Dan wants to do it. Dan's not here tonight. He'll be on later because if his wife plays the cello
You just said Dan. Who were you talking about?
about Mike.
Mike.
Yeah,
Right.
Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, you said she plays cello.
Yeah, she plays the cello and right now. She's playing it for, I forgot, a group or something for 2 or 3 hours or something. So that's happening.
That's
So
nice.
Mike's wife.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, it's been real, guys.
It has been real. So let's
Yeah.
keep it real. I'll talk to you on the next slide. Peace
All
and
right.
love, Mike.
All
Don't
right.
take any foot nickel. Later, baby. It's time to rock and roll, baby.
All
We're
right.
gone.
See you, Jake.